Hello everybody, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about composition and how to get a nice shot. So this video is kind of following on from one I did a couple of weeks ago called Just Shoot, where I looked at the creative process. Well, this week I'm actually going to try and apply it. I have got with me my Polaroid SX70, which I've just loaded up with a brand new pack of 8 shots of black and white film. So I've got 8 shots to play with. That's not very much. I'm going to see if I can get one nice shot out of those 8. Usually when I shoot, I don't expect to have a very high success rate. I might get, 10% of shots that I take might be worth looking at again and might have the potential to be successful images. But I don't expect a very high hit rate. I've got 8 shots. I'm not really in with a chance, am I? If I had 10 shots, I'd be better off. I'd have more chance of actually getting a shot if 10% is my hit rate. But let's see what we can do anyway. Now, contrary to what you may have heard, or may not have heard, which is more likely, I never usually have any plans when I'm going out shooting. I never have a theme. I never really pay much attention to what I'm going to shoot. I don't constrain myself with rules because personally, for me, if I do that, then I feel constrained. I don't feel able to have the freedom that I need. It takes away creative freedom. So personally, I keep it very loose. And I really don't have any particular ideas or plans about what I'm going to shoot. Sorry, I'm just reading my notes. I can't remember all this stuff. So I never have usually a vision to what I'm going to do. I just wait to be inspired by what I see around me. I just try and keep my eyes open, look around me, and look for interesting forms. Now, one of the things I'm really interested in is natural forms, and I very much like photographing flowers. Now, you might think that makes me a big softie, and perhaps it does, but flowers are very, very beautiful. They are a stunning creation of nature, and I just love photographing them. And I'll show you the flowers I'm going to shoot today. Whoop, round we go. And it's these ones. Just look at this bank of flowers. This bank of flowers is stunning. I've shot it before. I'm using black and white film today. These are white flowers, so I think these are going to look fantastic on Polaroid black and white. So let's get set up to shoot them. Well, there's been a disaster. My lovely old Polaroid, recently very kindly given to me by a viewer, has given up the ghost. It won't do anything. I can't see through the viewfinder. It doesn't make any noises. It loaded the film okay. It chucked out the shield, the film shield, but after that it wouldn't do a flipping thing. So finally, after 40 years, it's given up. That's a shame. I'll have to see if I can get it fixed. I think the Fresnel lens is stuck. I think that's what's happened to it. But I've pressed into service my trusty old X-T3, or my trusty new X-T3. I've set it to Acros black and white, and I've set it to square format, so it's standing in for the Polaroid. Back to the flowers. Let's see what we can do. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to limit myself to 8 shots. I'm not going to take any more than 8 shots, which is what the Polaroid film was giving me. So here's shot number 1. This is the flowers, the white flowers. I'm going to go close on these. I know you can't go close with a Polaroid, but you can move a bit nearer. So I think we're within our rights to do that, and here we are. There we go. Okay, so there's our one shot of the flowers. Let's wander around now and see what else we can see. Well, there we are. It's a real shame that my lovely Polaroid SX70 has conked out. I really was looking forward to using that today. It just wasn't to be, I guess, but we do have the next best thing. In the film days, I would have been forced to rely on good old shoot and then develop later photography, but given that we're in the digital days, we have instant cameras aplenty. We're awash with them, and the X-T3, I'm sure, is going to do us good service. Now then, I'm in the park, and if you've seen this channel before, you'll know that I've shot quite a few of these videos here, but I am looking for just one more shot of natural forms. We've done the flowers in the churchyard there, and I'm just looking for another shot of natural forms here. So I'm not deciding, I'm not making any decisions, I'm not planning anything, I'm not even looking out for anything in particular. I'm just looking around to see what I can see. Oh, there's something vaguely interesting, but only vaguely interesting. I'm looking around to see what I can see, and I won't know what it is until I see it, which I may just have done. Check out these berries. Oh, it doesn't want to check them out. Hold on. Now then, check out the orangeness of these orange berries, and there's so many of them. I wonder if that might make an interesting image on black and white. Well, let's find out. It's going to be one shot, just as we said, so let's just see what we can do with that. Alright, so that's shot 2 of 8, and I am sticking to that 8 shot limit just to reproduce what we would have done had my poor old Polaroid not given up the ghost on us. So that's number 2 of 8. That's the last of my natural forms shots, unless I see anything that's particularly interesting and catches my attention, and I just feel I have to shoot it, and if I don't shoot it, then I'll feel like I've lost out. Maybe you feel the same, but I do feel that it's, you know, when I see a shot, I really feel the importance to actually get it. So I'm going to do some other stuff. What rules am I going to use? I don't know if I'm going to use any rules. I do use occasionally the rule of thirds, which is a nice compositional rule where if you have your frame here, just imagine that, you divide it into third lines vertically and third lines horizontally, and you put your center of attention on where those points cross, and it really does work. It's a very old system, it goes back many years, and you'll see it in lots of images, you know, going right back to the times of the Romans and the Greeks. That's how far back it goes. It's a tried and tested method, and it does work, and I do use it sometimes, but generally I don't use a lot of compositional rules. One thing I do use is the important word. Shall I start that bit again? One rule that is important to use is don't clutter your shot. Keep your shot clear of stuff that isn't relevant to the image. All you want to be looking at in your shot is exactly what's relevant in that shot, exactly what's important in that shot. So this is part of learning to see. Fill the frame. That's the other thing I wanted to say. Fill up your frame. Let your subject occupy the whole of your frame, and let nothing else occupy that frame. That's kind of the same as saying don't clutter up your shot, really. It's another way of saying it. but fill that frame as much as you can. Even if you're shooting a wide shot, be very careful and think very carefully about, what do I want in this shot? What's the actual thing that I'm looking at? And to do that, you've really got to filter out all the irrelevant stuff around you, and you've got to develop that skill of filtering out that irrelevant material so that you get the shot you want, and so that you get the shot that your eye has seen, and more important than that, you get the shot that your mind has seen. Right? So when we shoot, what we're trying to do is we are trying to give some semblance of the emotional response that you got when you looked at that object and it occupied the whole of your visual field and the whole of your visual attention. That's why it's important not to clutter up your shot, and that's why it's important to fill the frame. So what we're trying to do is we're trying to create an image that, as far as possible, reproduces something of the feel of looking at that object in the first place. It's not really about visuals in the final analysis. It's more about feeling. It's more about, can you actually reproduce the feeling that you got when you saw that object that you wanted to photograph. So that's something that is worth bearing in mind. One subject I'm very interested in and that inspires me very much is graffiti, you know, just stuff written on walls or phone boxes or wherever it might be. I find that very, very fascinating. It's sort of wild and unfettered street art. It's actually in Paris. I went to Paris recently, and nobody takes graffiti away in Paris. It stays there where it is, and I think it's just beautifies the city in a kind of rough and raw way, which I rather like. Here in the UK, in the probably rather more bourgeois capital city of London, it's considered a dreadful thing, and it must be scrubbed off immediately. But whenever I see some, I catch it before somebody scrubs it off, because I love it. It's just wild and free street art of a kind that you just don't see very often. You don't see free expression like that very often, and it really fascinates me. Another subject that I really like is shop dummies, and this is quite you know, it's produced quite an unusual response sometimes when I've made this clear to people. But you know, people get inspired in different ways, and those are things that inspire me. They've got to be good shop dummies. Not just any dummies will do. They've got to be quite lifelike and have lifelike faces and a good set. There was a shop that I used to visit until about, I don't know, 4 or 5 years ago, and they had the most fantastically lifelike dummies. These were just incredible, and the person who dressed them was obviously quite an artist, whoever it was, because you know, the set, the design, everything was always fantastic. So I'd always photograph those dummies, and they were really worth doing for me. I find them to have a very curious quality. Other than that, just more generally, I'm looking for lines and angles. I love lines and angles. It doesn't matter what the subject is. It can be any subject as long as it's got lines and angles in it. And I love to use the diagonal of the shot as well. I love that diagonal, placing the subject on a diagonal line rather than straight. Straight can sometimes be, I don't know, a little bit boring, though not always. Another thing I'm looking for today is contrasts, any contrasty scene, any subject with areas of light and dark and shades of tonality in it because I'm shooting in black and white. If I was shooting in colour, then of course I'm looking for colours. But today I'm looking for blacks, whites, greys, and if possible for them all to be represented within the same subject. That I find quite an interesting way to shoot. So I'm going to go off and shoot the rest of those shots now. I'm going to show you them when I've done them. They'll be in the video coming up very shortly, and when I've shot them I'll review them and do a little commentary on them and tell you my thoughts. And if you have any thoughts to offer on them, if you think they're even remotely halfway decent, or as is more likely flipping awful, then please do say. You know, I don't mind, I'm not precious. If you think it's a load of old tosh, say. If you think there's something I could do better, tell me in the comments box. And also let me know how you just walked through a cloud of flies. Let me know how you shoot, what inspires you. Do you have a vision when you go out to shoot? Do you plan, or do you, like me, just go out and see what takes your fancy, so to speak? Alright, here's our pretend Polaroids. Let's go through them and just review them, see what we've got. So we'll start with the first image, the one of those spectacular white flowers, and yeah, it's a little bit, I don't know if I've caught it really, I don't know if I've done them justice. I've shot them much more nicely when I've shot them in the past. I think I should have gone rather closer on that, and it would have been nice to see one of the flowers, well, quite a bit closer together with. That would have given us some shallow depth of field. So yeah, I don't know. I think I was maybe a bit too disturbed about the collapse of my Polaroid SX70 to do the best job of shooting this shot. But I don't know. Tell me what you think. Right, the orange berries again. I don't know that it's really working as well as it could do. It's a picture of some berries. Okay. And you can, it's a nice sharp lens, so you can see lots of nice detail there, and there's a little bit of blur in the background, but that's not really what we're going for in this shot. Again, I think I could have gone closer here. The SX70 will go close, so I wouldn't have been cheating. So I should have gone a bit closer here, I think, and what we've ended up with is a subject that's not filling the frame. So I've broken my own cardinal sin there. It's not really filling the frame. It's not easy to distinguish what the subject is and exactly what we're looking at. If this was a student's image, yeah, I don't think I'd be giving them 10 out of 10 for this one. Bam Bam, the unexpected graffiti. Here's an example of a shot that just came out of nowhere. It wasn't planned. It wasn't something that I've actually ever seen before. It may have been there before, or it might be new graffiti, I don't know, but I've never seen this thing before. It just jumped out at me. There it was completely off the cuff, and I think this one really works quite nicely. I mean, why would anyone write Bam Bam on a steel gate? What's the story there? Where has that come out of? It's got some power. Those words have some power. They have power graphically, and they have power in sound when you say them, because they're quite, they're quite explosive sounds. So I think that shot has some real impact. There's a real nice range of blacks, whites and greys in it. It is underexposed, but deliberately so, because I think a downbeat feel suits graffiti. And one of the ways I think you get a downbeat feel is by underexposing a little bit and giving plenty of contrast. So I think, for my money, this is the most successful shot of the shoot. but tell me what you think. You may not agree. Car door, nah, I don't know. It's not really much, is it? I thought it might be interesting as far as reflections go. I thought there might be a nice range of greys and blacks and whites in it because it was a very dark colour. It was dark metallic grey colour. But that's not really represented in this image, and we don't really know what we're looking at there, do we? I've played with the diagonal of the door line a little bit, but I've not played with it as much as I could. Not many marks out of 10 for that one, Nigel. Right, I've got to admit I cheated. I took 9 shots instead of 8 because I really wanted to show you this graffiti and the way that it's been covered up with a box. I don't know, does nobody appreciate street art? Apparently not. And if graffiti is so awful to decent, upstanding people, why was it not scrubbed off the wall before the box was fitted? I suppose it's nice in a way, because now it can never be removed, apart from by somebody with very dexterous arms. Straight lines, 90 degrees, lots of them in this shot. And I do like geometric patterns with 90-degree shapes, you know, shapes with 90-degree angles. It's going to be squares or rectangles really, isn't it? But I do kind of like that. I like the fact that it's got this line on the edge, this drain pipe, or I think it's a cable conduit on the right there going down the wall. I like the box. I like the ad sign on the left there for the ice cream, and I like the graffiti. It's not a particularly fantastic shot, but it is an interesting shot, and I did want to show you that graffiti, so there it is. There's my cheat shot. Sydney Road, love free, reconnect yourselves. I took this shot because it's got lots of greys and blacks and whites in it and all points betwixt and between. I liked the street sign, and I liked the fact that somebody had put a sticker over it, but I think I've shot this too close. I should have come out a little bit. I don't think it works shot close like this, but because I was doing pretend Polaroids, I didn't move back and shoot it again. I've left it as it is. Not a great shot, not the best one on the shoot. This one's quite nice, I think. Lots of shapes, lots of light, lots of black, white and grey. There's lots of contrast in this shot. Lady there cleaning up after a long day in the shop. Just busy, working, a little piece of life, a little piece of action. It's technically not a great shot, and it's aesthetically not a great shot, but I do kind of like it. I like the texture going on in it. I like the livingness of it. I like the fact that it's a moment from existence, from life, and that you can clearly see that. Although I have to admit, aesthetically doesn't really kick anything out at you, but I do kind of like it nevertheless. This one, no, it doesn't really work. It's a red post box. I thought it might work. It doesn't. What were you thinking, Nigel? Let's move on. Oh, now this one I really do like a lot, actually. I love the jumble of shapes and angles and shades of black and white, and just that mishmash of bits of paper stuck in that newsagent's window. I also like the stickers that somebody's put on the wall on the left there, the advertising stickers to advertise various services. Yeah, I just love that shot. I really like that shot, and I think that is a successful shot. Whether it's technically and aesthetically successful shot, I don't know, but it's one of those shots that seems to have something. It's one of those shots that represents a personal style. This is the kind of thing that I like to photograph. And for me, that one works. Let me know what you think. I did think of shooting this closer, but then I thought, well, no, I'm going to shoot this wide and see as much of this jumble and mishmash of shapes and things as I can, and I think it works because of that. But do let me know what you think. This one, well, I said I like shop dummies. I do like dummies. These are not particularly detailed, but they do have, like all dummies and mannequins, they do have a lifelike quality, and it does kind of look like they're looking out onto the street. A bonus with this shot, it's shot into a shop window, so you get loads of reflections, which I like. I love playing around with reflections. So yeah, this isn't my best shot of shop dummies. It's not my best shot of reflections, but it's kind of nice and it kind of works, I think. So that means that I've got one shot out of the 9 that I shot, and that's about right. That's about a 10% hit rate of shots that are going to be anything even resembling halfway decent, in my opinion anyway, in my experience, and that's been borne out on this shoot. And it's interesting that the shot that I think is the nicest is something I've never shot before, something that just leaped out at me there and then in the moment, something that was spontaneous. Often the spontaneous shots that just leap out at you as if from nowhere are the gifts. They're the best ones. They're the ones that work out most nicely. Why? I don't know. They've got the element of surprise in them. They just spring out at you. They're not expected. It's as though they're just waiting there for you and waiting to just come into that lens and make that image for you. This one has what I'd call the energy of unexpectedness. And I've found this on film shoots as well when I've been shooting films. The nicest shots, the best shots are not the ones that you plan, they're not the ones that you storyboard. They're ones that you get off the cuff. They're ones that just occur to you on the point, on the day, right at that moment. And they've got this energy of unexpectedness, of unpreparedness in them. And that is where the gold is, in my opinion, at least. So I guess that's more or less it from me for now. I do hope this episode has been useful. I hope you've enjoyed this little walk around with me. Please do let me know what you think of the final images in the shots, and let me know how you get inspired and what inspires you. Massive thanks to our subscribers. We are that far from 30,000 subs. So if you like the channel, chug us a sub. That would be greatly appreciated. I'd be very happy to get to 30,000. That would be very nice. Many thanks go to patrons, without whom this show could not do what it does. Many thanks to all the patrons we've ever had, all the patrons we have now, everybody who's been with us since the start, everybody who's been with us and left, everybody who's joined recently and is with us now. Many thanks to you. We genuinely couldn't do what we do without your support, so thank you. And if you enjoy the content on this channel, why not consider becoming a patron yourself? You can do it over at www.patreon.com/Zenography. I almost forgot what it was then. And you can do it for as little as $1 of your Earth dollars per month. That would be much appreciated. So that's it from me, and I will see you next time for some more Zenography. Cheerio all.